I'm Matt Goldblatt, the Program Director at the Medical College of Wisconsin Department of Surgery. You're about to watch the commencement address given by Dr. Kirk Ludwig, Chief of the Colorectal Surgery Division at the Medical College of Wisconsin. The address was given at the commencement program for the graduating chief residents in 2017. Dr. Ludwig's talk touches on a lot of the accomplishments of the chief residents as they completed their 5-year residency. In addition, he addresses a lot of life lessons that he's learned throughout his career. During the video, you'll see a lot of action shots of our residents around the campus doing what they do best. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for your interest in our residency program.
I am very honored and humbled that you have provided me a moment to speak with you. I'm not fully certain what prompted the invitation, other than the possibility that there was a chief resident or two who simply wanted to put me in the uncomfortable position of trying to impart some profound advice or wisdom when I am sure it's clear to all the chiefs that I really have none to share. This is not to say that I do not recognize profound insight or wisdom when I see or hear it. As some of the residents may know, the Notes app in my cell phone is filled with quotes, poems, and thoughts from people who did in fact have the wherewithal to scribe insightful and profound comments. I do have some original thoughts, but most of them not quite as eloquent as those on my Notes app. I'll sprinkle some of those quotes in with my own thoughts tonight. You should easily be able to distinguish my thoughts from those of Max Ehrmann, Chief Tecumseh, T.E. Lawrence, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Helen Keller, John Quincy Adams, Alexander the Great, William Faulkner, and Vince Lombardi. Congratulations to the chiefs who are finishing this part of their journey. Highly educated, highly trained, finely tuned surgical machines. I know that I speak for the Department of Surgery when I say that we share a tremendous amount of pride in your accomplishments, and we are sending you away confident that you are well trained and well positioned for success. Congratulations also to your families, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your spouses, your children, and your friends. They deserve a lot of credit for your successes. Make sure you thank them for their help, their love, and their encouragement. Make sure you apologize for the times you have missed, the dinners and picnics you missed because something came up at the hospital, the birthday parties that went off without you since you were on call, the quality time you spent with your loved ones sleeping on the couch while the world kept spinning without you. We chose a profession, or it chose us, that requires a constant and unrelenting commitment. This creates a constant conflict. My patients or my family, and what about me? How can I keep everyone happy? I have no easy answers. There are simply just so many hours in a day. Every hour away is an hour gone. Every time you leave the hospital early without things being just right, there's a potential problem. I'm not sure perfection is possible in this balancing act. So remember that all of us fail to match our dreams of perfection. So we are rated on the basis of our splendid failure to do the impossible. Also remember that time is our most precious treasure. It is limited. We can produce more wealth, but we cannot produce more time. When we give someone our time, we actually give a portion of our life that we will never give back. Our time is our life. The best gift you can give your family and friends is your time. May you have the wisdom to give it. I would suggest that if you haven't already, make thank you, I love you, and I am sorry a big part of your vocabulary. Since the chiefs will be leaving soon, I need to clear up a few things. I tend to get a bit sarcastic. Hopefully over the years the chiefs have figured this out and appreciate this and know that certain crazy things are said simply to get a rise, to be sure you are awake and thinking clearly. For example, I know that many of the chiefs have heard me say, usually in times of severe frustration, profound loneliness, and bitter disappointment, in the clinic, in the operating room, on rounds, after meetings with administrators, etc., that I am a lone wolf in the woods. I am an army of one. I am a rugged individualist, and I am a strong, independent voice for freedom. Or you may have heard me say that you should trust no one, even be leery of yourself, and be aware that you are surrounded by assassins. These are all thoughts meant to fortify myself against forces, whether real or imagined, that seem to be aligned against me or aligned against us. Yes, I have been heavily scarred through the years, and yes, I can think this way. I hate to say this, but these thoughts may be a little off base. Don't get me wrong. In a difficult environment in which we are constantly expected to achieve what to a sane person might seem to be impossible, you have to fortify yourself. You must be strong, and you must swallow hard and accept risk. You have people's lives in your hands, and the trust people put in you can seem overwhelming. You can figure out for yourself how to do this. My way is probably not right, though it seemed to work well in the past. But in our current environment, it may be better to replace the I's with we's. It is probably better to consider what can be accomplished, not just by yourself, but what your team can do. We have always had teams. We have teams of students and residents. We have a team of people in the operating room. We have our office staff and our nurses and our PAs. But there are so many more players today, way more. The organizational charts have exploded. And if we want to be relevant in the current climate, if we want to have a say about what medicine and surgery will look like for ourselves and for our patients, we have to adopt a strategy that will put us in a position such that people will listen to what we have to say, and we have to listen to what others are saying. So can I suggest that instead of the lone wolf and the army of one way of thinking, you may think more along the lines of, as far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. And keep in mind how you may be perceived, sometimes without saying a word. And it might seem a bit odd that I should say this, but avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for there will always be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Every team needs a leader, and I will tell you that the best leaders in our environment are the ones who know what it is to actually take care of patients. If you want to be one, and I would suggest that there are plenty of gaps to be filled in this regard, develop your talents, develop your skills, develop those around you, and be that person. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, or do more, and become more, you are a leader. Be bold, take some calculated risk, and remember, do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path, and leave a trail. And keep in mind that avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. I need to say a few words about what it is that we have trained you to do. Remember that you are a surgeon. We operate on people. We cut them open, we take this or that out, and we put things back together. Doing surgery is such a personal act. The drugs don't do it, the scanner, the monitor, or the fancy catheter don't do it. The anesthetic made it possible, but it wasn't the deciding factor. You are. I know that I've probably driven most of you, maybe all of you, crazy with the whole OR thing, doing everything the same way each time, being so particular about all these little details, getting upset about this little thing and that little thing, being off by a plane, by a millimeter or two, etc. But you have to train yourself to be this way. It's easy to just let things go in a particular way. Human nature is to go in the easiest direction. This is why you have to discipline yourself. You need to push against human nature. I don't do things this way because I like to make everyone uptight and nervous. I do things in a particular way so that we can get particular results in a particularly consistent fashion. all the attention to this quality metric and that quality metric, this process measure and that process measure will just not make up for a sloppy operation. You just have to try and do things properly every time. So my message then is to spend time perfecting your craft. You are your craft. You are the one. And when you are the staff and when you are ultimately responsible, you will feel this pressure. Let that pressure push you to perfection. There must be constant commitment to do your best and to do better. For those of you going for fellowship training, watch how masters do their operations and make your operations to the best of your ability look the same. For those going into practice, watch the older guys. Find out who it is that people take their family members to for surgery and try to model your operation after theirs. Try to make every operation a piece of artwork, a masterpiece. You owe this to your patients. They trust you. And remember, unless you try something beyond what you have mastered, you will never grow. Every job is a self-portrait of the person doing it. Autograph your work with excellence. And finally, let me just say a few words about your careers. Just some random thoughts. Make plans, set goals, watch for opportunities, gravitate towards your strengths, surround yourself with good people, figure out who you can trust, who can help you, who can provide sound advice, find people that compliment you, and have them do what you cannot. Look around to see who is successful. Try to understand why and model yourself after them. Remember that you can learn as much from a bad surgeon as you can from a good surgeon. You just have to be able to tell the difference. Pace yourself in your career. Your career is not a sprint, it is a marathon. Be aware, however, that to be ultimately successful, you should run a marathon at a sprinter's pace. Find a few friends in your field, someone who speaks the language, who understands the issues, who has a similar experience. You can talk to yourself all day, but it's much better to talk with a friend. I have a few friends that I speak with a couple of times each week. I call them, they call me. We discuss cases, we discuss what is happening in medicine and surgery, and we discuss our families. And we give each other advice and support. You have to make time for it. Find a hobby or two outside of your work. Make yourself really good at something other than surgery. Challenge yourself constantly. Dream about something and do it. Dreaming is one thing, doing is another. Remember, all men dream, but not equally. Those that dream by night in the dusty recesses of their minds wake up in the day to find it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act upon their dreams with open eyes to make it possible. Be the latter. Things are changing rapidly, and in the midst of a world where we struggle to control these changes and maintain what we think is best, it's easy to become negative. You know that I talk to you about this on rounds, in the OR, in the clinic, and everywhere. You know what I talk to you about, the hate mail, the pressure to do this or that, the new hoop to jump through, the new metric or process to apply. You all need to be aware of what is happening, but you have to be careful that it doesn't control us, that it doesn't overwhelm us. We need to keep the following in mind. We are privileged to be physicians. We are invited into our patients' lives like few others. We are there when life begins, and we are there when life ends. We must constantly keep in mind the sacred bond, the doctor and the patient forming a relationship, agreeing on what seems right, and then doing our best. We should never let anyone take this away, and we must constantly strive to stay positive. When you arise in the morning, give thanks for the food and for the joy of living. If you see no reason for giving thanks, the fault lies only in yourself. Abuse no one and no thing, for abuse turns the wise ones to fools and robs the spirit of its vision. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. Do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. Congratulations to the chief residents and congratulations to their families. Good luck with your fellowships and good luck with your new positions. Work hard, perfect yourself in your art, pace yourself, don't forget to have some fun, strive to make things better, and make MCW proud. Be strong but gentle in the operating room and be kind to your patients.